初めて俺に伝えている。
絶望の匂いだ。
面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなにガチンが多すぎて。
お父さん。
あかん。
ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。
アメリカ、万歳、ファイト。
絶対負けないよ。
ランド、トライドまで。
出ろ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。
おい、仲良くしてるね。この世界、季節にいけるかな。昔グレートだった。大きにまたグレートになるかな。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そう。やらせるで。
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage I. of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Thursday for my third stream of the day so far, and we got a fourth one happening a little bit later. That Cobra Commander role is my favorite thing that has ever happened on the internet. It is the best thing ever, and I will as long as I don't get hit with copyright, I will continue to use that constantly because it is the best thing I've ever seen on the internet, and it makes me so happy. It is so good. I just love it. It's the greatest thing ever. So, best intro ever. Absolutely. It's the coolest thing. I just saw it the other day. Somebody posted it, and now it's getting a lot of traction online. Yes, it is the best. We need a G.I. Joe movie intro. If I could play that G.I. Joe movie intro, I would 100% do it. I'd probably, because it was like a 5-minute intro, I think. But I don't think I would, I don't think the channel would survive that one, or at least the live stream wouldn't anyway. But anyway, hope everybody's doing well. It is Thursday. I kept calling it Tuesday on our stream earlier today for some reason, probably because I'm exhausted and I got all this other crazy stuff going on, but it doesn't matter because we're here for CobraCast. And we have news. We have things to catch up on. There's a lot of craziness going on with a lot of feminist women right now. Liberal feminist women are the worst. They are absolutely terrible. And they are showing the world that. Jimmy says, this is ultra gay. I'm going to binge stream. Damn. Always Ghostly, thank you for the membership. Thank you. Dan, it says a real American hero. G.I. Joe is the best. Wanna Wrestle, thank you for the $1. Wanna Wrestle. And yes, we do have the new Fortnite season, chapter season, whatever. New season, I think. And I'll be playing that with the crew tonight. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played it at all, so this will be my first time jumping into the new season. New weapons, new map, new abilities, whatever. It's going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait. Also, I have bad news for all of you. We are officially cooked. It's over. Okay? It's over. A humanoid robot training for the World Humanoid Robot Games in Beijing crashed into a safety cushion after failing to stop. We're done, man. We are done. Oh, we are done. I thought this was AI when I saw it. Apparently it's not. Apparently this is for real. I kept seeing it and I'm like, this has got to be AI, right? This has to be. I'm still not sure if it's AI or not, but either way, we're done. We're over with. This is going to be that mall kiosk guy in the mall that you ignored. Yeah. In the future, when you see the mall kiosk guy, when you ignore him, he's going to know everything about you. He's going to see you. He's going to see you look away from him. He's going to download all of your information. He's going to know your address, your name, your family, your credit score, your social security number, your driver's license number. He's going to know all of it. And he is never going to forget that you didn't stop at his kiosk. You're screwed. We're all screwed. It's over. It is completely over. Yeah. When you poop, he'll know it all. This is so bad and so scary. But welcome to reality. That's it right there. Let's see. Hey, it's Og Dog. Look at there. He is such a positive force in the chat. That's really, really good. Where's my Zootopia 3? Who is ready for Zootopia 3? Well, I'm not, but guess what? You're getting it because holy crap. What did it make? Like $800 million in China or something like that? It's absolutely crazy. I think didn't it make like 800 million? I didn't see Zootopia 2. I have no interest in Zootopia. I hated the first one. Only watched it one time. But people like it. George Ramirez says, haha, you played the intro. That was awesome. Yes. Cobra Commander, Cobra roll. Chuck says, insert the damn sound bite. You know what? That's pretty much what happened with that robot. Although the hit for the robot wasn't as hard. One more time. Damn. Yeah, she hit a little bit harder than the robot. Just a little bit. Maybe the Airwolf theme. Oh, the Airwolf theme is so great. It's absolutely fantastic. The Exaltic Patriarch says, did you get the Cobra Commander Rick roll? I left you on Twitter. I got tagged in it last night. So I don't really know where it came from. But I got tagged in it multiple times last night. So, not to mention the first movie was about racism. Beastie Man talking about Zootopia. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because not a lot of people agreed with me, but I saw the I saw the heavy-handed messaging in Zootopia, the first one, and I just hated it. I hated it, and I was one of the only people that had that issue. So I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm seeing something in this shit that isn't there, but I had the unpopular opinion on it. Don Third Leg says, we need a damn from the beggar video dubbed over that robot clip. That's a lot. And I'm pretty sure now that the internet hears about that, they're going to provide that. I agree completely. SBC says, now imagine that robot carrying swords. Don't scare me. Clumsy Dork says, Jeremy, did you get something? Did something happen to you and a mall kiosk guy? No. So I have a lot of women in my life. Okay. A lot of women in my family. And no disrespect to the ladies. No disrespect to the 11%, but women are kind of stupid sometimes. So I'm constantly having to teach the women in my family how not to be stupid. And I have to tell them, like, when you walk past a mall kiosk guy, don't stop. Don't talk to him. Don't give him attention. He doesn't care about you. He's trying to scam you. So every time we go to the mall, I have to go, don't look at the mall kiosk guy. Please. Okay? Just please don't do this. And I'm constantly having to tell them this. So yeah. Toddy says, Candace is defending the Clancy baby killer now. I have those clips. We are going to discuss that. Arm514 says, disappointed the Cobra role wasn't in the Cobra Commander voice. Lord Bothus says, can we talk about how the GTA 6 leaker is basically a Batman villain saying he cares about gamers' rights while running a pump and dump crypto scam? It's beautiful, man. The guy clearly is using people, and they're falling right for it. And this is where, people get so caught up in the cause, and they will just, it's kind of like the line in Dark Knight. They're turning to a man they don't fully understand. And that's what happens here is people find something that they can connect with others on, and then they zero in on that from an emotional standpoint. Meanwhile, this guy's just a crypto bro. That's all he is. And he's preying upon people's hatred of Rockstar now and their enthusiasm and excitement for GTA 6. And then they're just eating it up. Meanwhile, this guy is he's just a crypto bro. That's all he is. Rock Bottom says, what's a mall? It used to be a wonderful place. So malls, I will say, malls used to be a wonderful place. And then a certain thing started to happen in malls called diversity. And suddenly the mall experience became a shitty experience. And that's all I'll say about that. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. As soon as diversity entered the equation, it wasn't fun anymore. So yeah, there's that. Nips Litter says opinion on the Road Warriors, Jeremy. The tag team, the Legion of Doom. I think they're the greatest tag team in wrestling history. I love them when they were Road Warriors. I love when they became the Legion of Doom. I think they're the most iconic, and they captured everything that you would want in a tag team, So yeah, they were fantastic. Where's my Zootopia 3? I don't mean to rub you the wrong way, but Zootopia 2 did make more money than the Odyssey. No hard feelings because we both love Trump. I mean, did Zootopia? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would assume it did. Zootopia. It's not even autofilling. Zootopia 2 box office. Okay, yeah, so it made 1.87 billion. Yeah, I don't think Odyssey's going to hit that. My ceiling for the Odyssey is about 1.7 billion. So it'll probably, I mean, when Zootopia did how much does Zootopia do in China? Zootopia made $630 million in China. Holy fuck. Odyssey might hit 120 million in China, but Zootopia did. Does China really like furries that much? It's an all-time record for China for a Hollywood film. Zootopia, $630 million in China. That is crazy, bro. Holy shit. Piano D says, Jeremy, have you ever heard any of the Ultimate Warrior's conservative rants? Thoughts on the way Warrior left this earth and timing? I don't know about his conservative rants. I don't know if I've heard those. The timing of the Ultimate Warrior's passing is something that if I didn't experience it and follow it, I would have never believed it. It's one of those things where when you hear about all of the things that took place and the passing of the Warrior and all of the things that were going on, if you were to tell a person that story, into the future, they would never have believed all of the things that happened. His last appearance on Raw, and making up with Hulk Hogan and everything. It was crazy, man. So yeah, I thought it was very symbolic in a lot of ways, but obviously sad as well. But yeah, Warrior was a freaking legend. Okay, so we got to get into some of these stories because, man, I don't. What is going on right now in this country with these liberal women? And that's a distinction I want to make. These are liberal women, and they're crazy. They're absolutely nuts. I don't get it. I don't understand it. A lot of it's just trends on the internet. But If you guys aren't caught up yet, these crazy bitches are here to support a woman who strangled her 3 young children to death. Also, they can vote. Supporters are now dressing in pink and gathering outside of Plymouth Superior Court for Lindsay Clancy. I just don't get it. There's nothing here to support. There's nothing. Like, why do you think this is okay? I don't understand this. I can't, like, a lot of times I can find logic in things. I cannot understand this. I can't comprehend it. It makes no sense. I can't even step back because a lot of times I will try to have perspective outside of my own. There's zero perspective to have on this. And I actually did see, dang it, was it on my other account? Let's see. I did see a very, very good post that I thought really did hit the point home. And for some reason, it's not showing up on my timeline now, and I don't know why. But it was to emphasize when you have pure evil and crazy, you don't support it. And here it is right here. This is Chris Benoit. He strangled his wife and son and took their lives. There's evidence he suffered a mental breakdown. There's evidence that drugs may have played a role. There has not been one TikTok video made by any woman asking to understand his side. You know why? Because no one should take up for him. No one. He's pure evil. Okay? Yet we have all of these women telling you it's okay and sympathizing with what this crazy bitch did. Need you to understand what these women are supporting. Lindsay Clancy baited her husband to leave the house to run errands, lured her children into the basement, took an exercise band and strangled the 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, and the 8-month-old, cut her wrist and neck, jumped out the window, and paralyzed herself. These ladies are out there holding hands, crying, cheering for her like she's a feminist folk hero. In a sense, she is. Feminism has always been a death cult where the end goal is the power to murder your children out of convenience. He ain't wrong. So this is a whole different level of like craziness that I can't process at all. Woman posts video of her bawling her eyes out because Lindsay Clancy can't hold her children's stuffed animals because her husband allegedly got rid of them. What?
He got rid of all of their stuff. She doesn't have anything. You guys, I can't. I can't. Like, she can't pet their lubbies. It's so upsetting. And I keep seeing her just sitting there and having to listen to all of this over and over again. She can't even pet their lubbies.
My God. Now, what's interesting here is guess who's involving herself? You know it. Candace Owens, right here.
I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. When Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed to give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 pharmaceuticals that she was on is absolute madness. Absolute madness.
Now, what you are witnessing right here is Candace Owens knowing her audience. It's as simple as that. You can get mad about it. You can be upset about it. But this is Candace Owens knowing her audience. And she knows exactly what is going to work for her audience, and she's just going to tell them what they want to hear. And you either understand that or you don't. And I understand that. I understand that she's doing that because she, like most content creators, scared of her audience. That's really what this comes down to. But she even admitted, and there's a clip of her where she says, don't ever be honest on the internet. And if I can find that one, I don't know if I can find it. Yeah, actually, here it is. This is Candace Owens telling you who she is right here. Okay, listen.
But I remember you were kind of the first one that sort of made this a thing where you could like be a personality on the internet and sort of earn your own income that way.
Yeah.
And then you did this horrible thing.
I know. I told the truth.
You told the truth.
Oh,
and
gosh.
the rule number one on the internet, if you want to survive. Exactly.
Right. So essentially, to translate what she's saying is rule number one on the internet is you never, ever, ever tell your audience what they don't want to hear. So like, for instance, I think now the number one rule on the internet is to never say you like the Odyssey because it'll get you in trouble. I'm going to break that rule every fucking CobraCast until I just stop doing the show. I'm just going to find ways to mention that I like the Odyssey just so we can put that out there because fuck them. So anyway, but with that said, I'll probably be the only one that says that, because, the audience doesn't like that. But going back to the point at hand, Candace is doing this because she knows that it's going to help continue to motivate her audience to support her. And she's not stupid. As much as people want to continue to say she's stupid, she's not stupid. She knows what she's doing.
Corinne writes, I know you're busy, but I'd love to know your thoughts on the Lindsay Clancy case in Massachusetts. I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they...
Now the point she's making right here, I think the pharmaceutical industry is horrible. I think the pharmaceutical industry is criminal, and I've talked about this already. I try to be careful when I'm talking about this topic in particular, but I think that it's people have become reliant upon all of these things, and people have been brainwashed to believe that they need these things in order to survive. It doesn't mean that there are not cases of people needing these things. I think that there are cases, extreme cases where people need, certain things to survive, but they have convinced the masses that they all need these drugs. And bottom line is while that's a good standpoint and a good argument for Candace to have in isolation, it still doesn't change the fact that this woman murdered her kids. You still have the power to make decisions in life. If you make bad decisions that ultimately lead you to make even worse decisions, you're still responsible for said decisions. The kids are still dead and they were murdered by a crazy person that doesn't make good decisions in life. That is a guilty person. You don't get to say you're not guilty because your bad decisions led you to a place to make you make worse decisions. You still made the decisions. You're still responsible and the kids are still dead. That's the bottom line here. And maybe that's a little too much nuance for Candace Owens' audience because they have a one-track mind. And I understand that. But that is the truth of it right there. You can have problems with the pharmaceutical industry and doctors and all of that. And I agree with you. But if you're going to tell me that an individual's bad decisions that led to even worse decisions, which led to the, killing of 3 innocent children, and somehow that means that the person that killed them is innocent, I don't agree at all. In fact, you're just showing how crazy you are, or at least how much you're willing to lie to your audience because they are crazy. It's absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, we're seeing this all over the place with these protests, with these women out there, and they're really upset and they're really passionate about it. Now, I think a lot of it is performative bullshit. Welcome to the internet. But at the end, there's still a lot of there's a lot of shit, man. Female TikTokers line up for photos with Lindsay Clancy's lawyer like they're at Disneyland. One woman was seen making a duck face while sticking her butt out as she stood next to the child murderer's attorney. Like, what are we doing, man? I can't play that. But it's like it's like he's a fucking character at Disneyland or Disney World, and they're just like, hey, I got to take a picture. What? Now, I haven't followed the case specifically that closely. I did hear that there's been people that have said he's actually doing a good job of building her case. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But man, this is some ugly, ugly stuff right now. And we are heading to some tough times with these crazy liberal women, because crazy liberal women are the true focus of evil in this country, because they're just so out of touch with reality, and they don't have any standards, man. And they just have this feminism mindset, this victim mindset. My God, it's bad. BMCCB says G&G has a female. Ask her. No, we don't have any women at Geeks and Gamers. No, we don't. Not after today. Not after watching those videos. I'm done with all of them. So they're all fired. So it's for the it's for the greater good. Okay. It's called collateral damage. Okay. You can point to like, well, what about this one or that? You know what? It's for the greater good. Okay. Philip Johnson says feminism has taught that having kids, family is evil. These are people that laughed at Charlie Kirk. They are telling us who they are. Believe them. You know what? On that front, you ready to see something really bad? Look at this right here. It's over on, look at this, okay? You're not going to believe this. But here we go.
Charlie Kirk way.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame.
Trans weirdos on Charlie Kirk way giving themselves injections. Yeah.
We'll fight for
I don't know what this song is. I'm not even going to listen to this shit. But this is.
Anyway, Isha on Charlie Kirk way. Make like and subscribe for more Charlie Kirk memorials.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the crazy people that we are told that we're supposed to have respect for, and we're supposed to understand their struggle and all of this shit. Yeah. Quartering sources. Do you think some people are just misguided? I was a fan of JD Daly, but he bought into Candace Owens hook, line, and sinker. Overall, I don't think he's a bad person, just misguided. I think that there is a very powerful overlord on the internet. And that overlord is the algorithm. The Candace Owens algorithm pays very fucking good. It pays, like, what did I say the other day? Okay. What did I show you? Let's just look at it right here. Okay. Let's go to last week. What was it? What day was it that the big Candace Owens debate was? What day was that? Was that a Thursday? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. Can somebody help me remember what day was the Candace Owens debate? It was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. So as you see right here, this is the super chat numbers for that day. And I'd pointed out that little old D-Day Cobra finished number 5. But if you look at the actual dollars, Candace Owens made $21,000 in super chats. Not to mention, if you notice there's a key difference in the viewership of PBD, Candace Owens, and D-Day Cobra. Okay? So, Candace got 5.1 million views. PBD got 1.7 million, same stream, 42,000 for me. Not bad. Those are good numbers for me. But my point being is that the Candace Owens template pays far better than anything else right now. The algorithm rules all. And that's really what, and it's not just with Candace, it's every fucking thing. And so that's where we are. So what are you going to do? We got young Ripa. You know what, Ripa? You know what? You want to come here and talk shit? I ain't going down this whole Candace Owens bullshit, but I'll make anti-Ripa videos. Well, it don't pay that good though. Fuck. Never mind. I'm not going to do anti-Ripa video. If it paid good, I would, man, but it don't even pay shit, man. Like, damn. Fuck. Hail, young Ripa. The only time we see you around here is when somebody drops me a $500 super chat. That's the only time we see Ripa these days. And Zwanny can't send anymore, so we don't see it ever over here. Scully dropped one, though. You know what? Scully did drop a 500. I didn't play it. But she didn't, it wasn't a 500 and said nothing. She did say something. So technically I didn't have to. But then Zwanny requested that I play all the clips of the ladies. So it is what it is. Hail young Ripa, though, man. River Miles says Joe Flacco tax. We're still trying to locate him, man. We're still trying to locate him, River Miles. I don't know if we'll get any super chats to help us investigate that tonight, but we'll see. Man, it's a crazy time right now. Okay, so obviously there's a lot going on with the political system and Trump, and people have questions. Somebody asked me the other day, like, why aren't you talking about Iran? And I'm like, I don't fucking know what's going on in Iran. I have no idea. I can pretend that I know. I can make up a bunch of shit and just act like I know, but I don't. And nobody else does either. We can only speculate as to what we think might be happening in Iran. And all I can do is, trust Trump to do what he's going to do. So, but we do have this right here. Trump threatens tremendous consequences against Iran, unprecedented scale. So let's hear.
Well, Sandra, the U.S. is quietly breaking Iran's grip on the Strait of Hormuz. American forces reportedly protecting tankers moving some 10 million barrels of oil every day through the waterway as President Trump opens up another front threatening economic D-Day for countries that help Tehran stay afloat. Let's bring in the former Defense Secretary, Mark Esper. Mr. Secretary, good to have you with us on the program. So here's what the president put out announcing all of this as he ramps up the economic stranglehold on Iran. He said, quote, I'm announcing the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. This will be economic warfare. And
this is such a Trump quote. I'm announcing the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country. This will be the greatest. This will be the best. You've never seen anything like it.
And isolation on an unprecedented scale. I am also announcing that any country that allows its financial institutions, businesses, airports, or government entities to provide any type of lifeline to Iran will itself face tremendous economic consequences.
Let's go. All right. You know what? That gets us this one right here. That sounds like our Trump.
Bomb the shit out of him. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Crooked Joe Biden.
No, get those lights off! Off!
He died like a dog. He died like a coward. You can't do it. It's disgusting.
Let's freaking go.
What's the path to success with Iran?
Well, first of all, John, good to be with you, with you and Sandra this afternoon. So, look, yes, I think this is a good idea. It's the least bad option. It is something, though, that will take us time and patience and discipline to effect. But look, I think there's a good chance it could pay off. But we will take time, and we will have to sacrifice a little bit. The Iranian people will sacrifice a little bit, but it's a far better option than committing ground troops, and it's a far better option than retreating from the strait and leaving it to Iran. So, look, I think we have to do this. I think the president putting out the word to other nations is important. As you know, China is one of the biggest buyers of Iranian oil and other goods.
Which, again, I've always felt like this was ultimately about China more than anything. But people live in the TikTok world. People want instant results, instant, gratification. They don't have time to let anything cook anymore these days. And so this is the reason that no other president has gotten involved in this. You're witnessing it right now. If even Trump is struggling with this shit, then clearly this was a complicated situation. Common sense. Why has no other president gotten involved in this? Because they didn't want to take the political hit that comes along with it. They didn't want to take the political hit. They didn't want to look, even Trump, who is the most popular president we've had, who's got the strongest base of any political figure in our lifetime, even him, he's got people turning on him like crazy over this. This is why no other politician or president would have ever taken this on, because the political risk is at an all-time high. This is a complicated situation. It's going to take time. Panicans are going to panic, but this is how it's got to go.
Goods. But other than that, it's mostly the countries bordering Iran that we have to focus on as well in order to really clamp down on Iran and tie up their economy.
The Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, today was very confident that this will achieve success and really put an exclamation point on the point that the president made earlier. Listen to what he said here.
And this is going to be the greatest coordinated economic isolation in the history of the world. And we are going to them and saying, you are either with us or against us. We are going to squash the economy of this murderous regime. It is a 1-2 punch. We have the blockade, and we are going to have the toughest sanctions in history. And I will tell you, this will work.
Yeah, you're either with us or against us. It's echoes of the George Bush administration. And what the U.S. is doing, moving 10 to 15 million barrels of oil per day out of the Persian Gulf, does appear to be putting the lie to Iran's claim that it controls the Strait of Hormuz and further squeezes it.
Yeah, it certainly takes pressure off.
Well, what we do have, and so we got the basics there, but really, this really is out of control, though, and I think we need to have a very, very strong source deliver some more of this news to us. So let's hear from Tucker Carlson.
At what's going on in Spain, and then you say to yourself, oh, maybe mass migration is used as a weapon. Well, of course it is. It always has been and always will be. I mean, when I was in middle school, I remember I got into a fight with a Jewish boy, and he used an immigrant as a weapon. That's right. It was a small little Mexican man named Jesus. He took him and he swung him. He did. He swung him at me several times, actually, like a lot. And thankfully he missed, but you could hear him. Got you. So he tried to use a Mexican immigrant. Now, after I was attacked by this student who happened to be Jewish, he happened to be Jewish, and I love Jewish people, I do. There were claw marks, and I remember that. I haven't forgotten it, and you shouldn't either. Whiny bitch. So he tried to use a Mexican immigrant, tried to use him as a weapon, and this, of course, happens repeatedly today, as we know this. Israel continues to use immigrants as weapons. We look at World War II, the Allied forces, so-called Allied forces, they bombed Dresden using immigrants. They dropped a lot of Mexicans on Dresden. We know that, we do. A lot of people were killed. They were murdered.
We know that, we do. It's so crazy to hear him do this Tucker Carlson interview and then think back to how Tucker uses those words and uses the terminology, because he makes these broad statements about how we know that. And it's like psychologically, like you're like, yeah, we know that. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, we don't. We don't know that. But he keeps saying it to manipulate people into thinking it's just this thing that everybody knows. Does it all the time.
murdered. They were. That was, of course, until they started using atomic weapons, nuclear weapons, which were not invented by people. Like, I don't believe that. I never have believed that. Not for a second that atomic weapons and the atom bomb was invented by a person. It wasn't. It was invented by an alien, maybe from Mars or even Saturn or Spain. They weren't invented by human beings. They were invented by demons. And when I was molested by a demon in my sleep, I could feel its warhead going off in what looked like a mushroom cloud in my bed. I do remember that. I do. And even my dogs were like, that's a demon and that's an atomic bomb. And so you look back on World War and death and murder and the use of immigrants as weapons, which was disgusting. It was. And immediately you're called what? A Nazi? An anti-Semite? Oh, shut up, Nazi! And so you look back at World War II and you look back at the outcomes of World War II and you ask yourself, are we better off? Using immigrants as weapons, whether you're a school bully or you're a military, we don't do that. And I say that as a man, as a white person, as a Christian. I really believe that.
Oh my God. I say that as a man, as a Christian, as a white person. Oh my God. He has said that so many times. It's absolutely incredible.
Using immigrants as weapons, whether you're a school bully or you're a military, we don't do that. And I say that as a man, as a white person, as a Christian. I really believe that. And atomic weapons were not made by people. People aren't real. Nothing is real. What is this? Are we in a simulation? I don't I don't know. You okay? Is there anything else? What are we doing here?
Just keep riffing.
Did Erica text me back?
I don't see anything.
No.
Yeah, no response.
Nothing?
Yeah, sorry. Still unread, actually.
Okay. Megan?
Oh, yeah. Right away.
Of course.
Oh, man. That is fantastic. Could this...
I
haven't watched this yet. I may have to watch this from Glenn Beck. Could this be Trump's solution for the Iran war? We may have to watch that. We'll go back to it. But yes, that was great. Amy Kozak is fantastic. Now I have to show you this. I'm not trying to jump on the roast Tim Pool bandwagon because I feel like Tim is getting absolutely destroyed. And I don't think it's even fair that he's getting destroyed. I really don't. But I saw this on my timeline and oh my goodness. We are screwed. AI is going to destroy all of us. Here we go.
Nobody tells me what to say.
I got to mute for a minute, but the Skater Boy song is so good.
He was a boy.
Come on, hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. All right.
I'm telling you, this is how you get civil war.
Well done, Timothy. Now, Candace, say she's completely lost the plot.
Candace has completely lost the plot.
Now, Alex Jones, say he's doing more damage to the right than the left ever could.
Alex Jones is doing more damage to the right than the left ever could.
Okay, Timmy, anti-Israel rhetoric. Ask who benefits, then say Iran does.
At a certain point, you have to ask who benefits for all this anti-Israel rhetoric, because Iran certainly does.
Timothy, this next one is very important. Say I'm gay.
What?
Go on, Tim. Do it. Tell everyone you're gay.
I'm gay.
Look at this shit, dude. Oh, man. Bag full of money. There it is right there. So, yeah. That is crazy work right there, man. Crazy work. Insane. Woo. Anyway, there you go. I had to show that one. That was something else. Little Jim Salo says, you see TMZ trying to harass the evil husband, or harass the husband evil, calling him evil. Is that what they're doing? I haven't seen TMZ doing that yet. Quartering sources, breaking news. Candace Owens' unnamed source in the Charlie Kirk murder is Mike Zero. Mike Zero has top sources. Let's freaking go. Rolling the Wretched for 20 says, you mean actions have consequences, like saying the DEI Odyssey was a good movie? Great movie, by the way. If you're going to quote me, let's quote me. Great movie. Get back to FNQ where you belong, because I want the stream to be gay again. I know this is just your way of grifting me for money. Love ya, Fig. If I was grifting for money, I would grift somebody that had a lot more than $20 fucking dollars. I know that's like, I know you can't get your double fucking cheeseburger from McDonald's now because you sent me 20, so you'll get my attention. But if I was grifting somebody for money, it certainly wouldn't be you with your fucking $20 fucking dollars, Roland. But I guess I'll take what I can get from you. So whatever. It is what it is. Thank you, Roland. Carlos says, grateful for your craft, brother. God bless. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hail to you, man. Thank you so much. As long as you guys are enjoying it, that's all that really matters. The Exalted Patriarch says, Cora, Dawson, and Callan, you will not be forgotten. The 3 children that were murdered by their mother. Prayers up for them. It's just awful, man. Dan Campbell says, we'd expect nothing less from the Cobra Commander. Jeremy, will you get me a double cheeseburger? I want a double cheeseburger. EF says Big Pharma needs to be arrested for breaking every law in the world, but it was still Clancy's hands on the kids. Agreed. Chuck says Candace is a nut job grifter. No clue how anyone stands listening to her. Anyways, hail the 199. Come back to F&T, please. I need you to rile up Ryan. Maybe one day. I am Brockatrod says CPS and the FBI need to be aware of these same Lindsay women on social media with their kids. Sounds like a covert threat to genuinely. I agree. If I was a family member of any of those women that were putting that stuff on social media, I would be making some phone calls. I just would, man. Protecting children is the single most important responsibility we have, is to protect children from evil. And the world it seems like it's getting more and more evil. I don't really know if it is or if it isn't. I think that it is becoming more evil, but it's because of our exposure to evil, if that makes sense. Let me explain what I mean. So as I've said, perspective is important, and that's we lack a lot of perspective on the internet these days. So it's really easy to get caught up in thinking that the world is so bad and everything is falling apart and everything's becoming terrible. But the perspective of it is the world was always a terrible place. So go back to the 80s and the 90s when I was growing up. Was the world just not a bad place? No, the world still had terrible things going on. We just didn't have the power of information that we have today. When I was growing up and I'm out in the yard playing with G.I. Joes, I didn't know what was going on in the next neighborhood from me, much less what was going on in every aspect of the country and the world at all times. Social media gives us the worst news in the world all day, every day. That's what it does. Whether you like it or you don't, it doesn't matter. That's just the nature of what we do. And it doesn't matter. Like, we can just be having a good day and then suddenly we hear about some horrible murder that happens 2,000 miles away. Well, we didn't hear about that in the 80s and the 90s because the information wasn't there unless the news media talked about it. But even then, there were certain times that the news media talked. We now have 24/7 information feeding into our brains at all times. And it has completely destroyed our perception of the world. I'm not saying the world was great, by the way. I'm saying that the world always had bad things going on. I'm just saying that our knowledge of those things going on is greater now than ever before. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to slow down. But because of the power of information and the access that we have to the evils in the world, I do believe that that is inherently making the world more evil. by having such access to the evil that's going on. If that makes sense, if people understand the point I'm trying to make. It's like the argument, like, a lot of Christian conservatives make the argument of porn being bad and how it destroys your mind and it destroys your perception of things. And by that same argument, social media is bad as well because it is destroying your brain and it's destroying your grip on reality. It's the same argument as what porn does to you. Social media does the same thing to you in a different perspective and in a different mindset. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox for a minute now, but yeah, that's the truth. And it's like everything's good in moderation, but as soon as you don't have it in moderation, we don't have social media in moderation. We're just consuming it 24/7 all fucking day, me included. And it ain't great for you. Wee doo-doo man. It says, check what Clay Travis just tweeted about the CNN lady. I think I like that tweet. Let me see if I did. I think I did. I did. Here it is. This chick got me banned from CNN for saying I believed in the First Amendment and boobs. Now she posts more pics of her boobs than Sydney Sweeney. She owes me a public apology. 100%. And I think this is a perfect time to play the greatest moment in the history of CNN. Clay Travis just destroying. This is still one of my favorite moments of all time. I was already a Clay Travis fan before this happened, by the way. This is such a great moment.
And that had absolutely nothing to do with sports. And they said, look, you can't have this opinion. It's too conservative. We're not going to allow it. I think that's a bad move. I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I believe in only two things completely, the First Amendment and boobs. And so once they made the decision that they were not going to allow a conservative, non-sports-related commentary, they couldn't do it.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly as a woman anchoring the show. Did you say, what did you just say? You believe in the First Amendment and BWOBS?
Boobs. Two things that have only never let me down in this entire country's history, the First Amendment and boobs. So those are the only two things I believe in.
Dude, the best part is how he keeps his monologue going. He just keeps powering through, not giving a single fuck that they are pretending to be offended.
Absolutely in the country. And so I don't think Jemele Hill should be fired, but I do think straight up that once you make the decision.
So Clay is awesome. I've been watching Clay Travis for a long time. If you notice, there's a little smirk right here because Clay knows that he's got gold, but he keeps powering through. But he hit a little bit of smirk for a minute because he's like, ah, shit, we're cooking, baby.
Boobs. So those are the only two things I believe in absolutely in the country.
Watch.
And so I don't think Jemele Hill should be fired.
Right here.
But I do think straight up that once you make the decision that you are going to let Kurt Schilling go, that you have to also make the decision that you're going to let Jemele Hill go. I think that's a bad decision. I think ESPN has made bad decisions that have led to 13 million subscribers bailing on the network. They've made bad decisions that have led to ratings collapsing. Jemele Hill's television show is collapsing. Ratings were down 20% last week over last year. I think that's why she's angry. I think that's why she went after Donald Trump. She's begging for ESPN to fire her so she can work somewhere else.
Okay. Keith, what do you think?
Listen, I'm astonished at almost everything I just heard. One of the things that, and Jamel's a personal friend, not just a colleague, but a personal friend. One of the things that Jamel's had to deal with her entire career, and many women who I'm friends with in this business and have been friends with in this business for a long time, is sexism, blatant sexism, comments about her appearance, comments about her racially, comments about her inability or perceived inability to be able to comment on sports because of her gender. For somebody to come on CNN and to say something like the only thing I believe in a discussion
I'm still there too, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. BOOZE or BOOBS? Because as a woman, I'm
and again, just knowing Clay, I could see him perk up. He's like, yeah, because he knows it. He knows he's got gold on his hands right now.
discussion about something.
I'm still there too, and I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. BOOZE or BOOBS? Because as a woman, I'm
as in boobs. I believe completely in the First Amendment and in boobs. Those are the only two things I believe 100% in this country. And by the way, Jamel has absolutely nothing to do with her background at all. He immediately, did you notice that? He went straight to that.
Power.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did go straight
Why would
to that.
you even say that live on national television and with a female host?
I say it live on the radio all the time because it's true, and that's what I do. Because I like boobs and the First Amendment, which is exactly what I said.
Now, I have to tell them more context here every time I bring this clip up. But the black guy there that was virtue signaling and simping. So after he got busted virtue signaling like a coward, like a cuck, the internet did what the internet always does. And they went through his Twitter account and they found all of these old tweets where he was commenting on all of these women's looks and making sexual comments about them in bikinis and nude photos and all of that. Because of course he was, because he's a guy and everybody knows that's how guys are. So we also know when you pull this bullshit, when you pretend that you're offended because somebody said they like boobs, nobody believes that shit. Everybody sees through it. And so I love that this guy got exposed for the clown that he is. And Clay Travis is a legend. So yes, going back to the original tweet, this chick got me banned from CNN for saying I believed in the First Amendment and boobs. Now she posts more pics of her boobs than Sydney Sweeney. She owes me a public apology. 100% Clay Travis. Justice for Clay Travis. Because Clay Travis went through a traumatic experience at CNN. No man deserves to go through a traumatic experience like he did with CNN, banning him for believing in the First Amendment and boobs. We need to rally around Clay. He's been through a lot, and we have to support him. He needs this public apology from Brooke Baldwin. He needs it for healing, for his emotional trauma that he has gone through. We need him to heal. And the only way he can heal is with a public apology. Thank you. Oh, that's good stuff right there. All right, where are we at? Crandall Drum says, did you see the opening of KFC in Africa clips? I'm not sure I want to watch that on stream on YouTube anyway. However, I'll definitely check that one out. Daniel says, pretty sure God flooded the earth for less than this. Agreed. Ehab says, the Jews did it is the new we was kangs. Yep. Chad Elledge says, is it possible one day there will be a video of one of these women will actually make a video unaliving one of her kids? I know, crazy thought, right? I hope not. I really hope not. But the fact that we have to worry about that says everything. Captain Penguin says, did you see Carmelo phone text for his appeal? I did not see that. I saw some discussion around that, but I didn't see exactly what the specifics were in regards to that. So, let's see. We got Storm Shadow says all the women supporting Lindsay Clancy just shows that women shouldn't be in charge of things. Oh, and Candace too. She's a cuckoo or Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs. Ronnie West says Lindsay killing her kids is Israel's fault somehow. Always is. Storm Shadow says new boobs or natural boobs, fake boobs. They're all real to me. Agreed. Vault 95 says, enjoyed your new show today. Got a better name for it. You should call your show Bragging Rights. Mod Eric says, I have been accused of, and I deny I would ever give Jeremy any money. All lies. I would never give him anything. That's a good way to prove it, Eric. You should send more. Scott Jennings is a top runner for President Trump's new press secretary. Sadly, Alina Habba says she's not in the running. I did see where Scott Jennings is being rumored to be in the top position of it. We don't know if that's true or not, but I did see where that discussion was happening. Who that girl or who that nation girl says the black thought I like boobs too. I can't read everything you said because I'll get twisted up and say the word that I like to say. I'll get in trouble for that. Now let me see what Glenn Beck has to say right here. Could this be Trump's solution for the Iran war? I'm actually interested in this. I have no idea what he's about to say. It was just part of my recommended after we watched that last clip. So let's hear what Glenn Beck has to say.
Explain to you the Iranian war and where we're at and how we got here, because people are not explaining how we got here. And that's the only way you can make the decision on whether this is good or bad. And I showed you right at the top, Thomas Jefferson facing this exact, with Muslim pirates, this exact issue, sat down with the ambassador, if you will, from Libya, or what was, what was Libya at the time, sitting down in England with the ambassador from Tripoli, and along with his counterpart, John Adams. So two presidents before they were president, two signers.
I got to say, is Glenn going for the Gary look? I think Glenn he sees like all the live viewers and the views that Gary gets, and Glenn's like, I'll take the neurotic look. I think that's what he's going for.
Of the Declaration, they're both sitting there and they're asking, what are you doing? Why are you taking our soldiers? Why are you killing our soldiers? We don't have a problem with you. And they explained the the fact that you're infidels, and so we have it's in our religious scripture that we can kill you, we can rape you, we can sell you into slavery, and that's just the way it is. And John Adams walked away and said, "Pay the bribe."
Bro, those are thicker than Gary's glasses. I ain't gonna lie, those are worse than Gary's. Holy shit.
Pay the bribe. It's not worth a war. Thomas Jefferson came out and said, no, we have to go to war on this. And so there's two patriots, and they had vehemently different agreements on this. They both vehemently differed on this. So we can both differ on this. One can be for it, one can be against it. You're still a patriot. This is a very tough question, but you at least have to think it all the way through. And what decision you make is up to you. But here's where let me play a clip of this from yesterday's Insider broadcast only. Biden comes in, and for some reason, he loosens the enforcement. He unfreezes $6 billion in Qatar.
Which not a lot of people are talking about.
And what do we get for it? We get October 7th and a proxy ring on fire in South Lebanon. Remember, we loosen the deal, and we get October 7th. So we have seen throughout all of these, including Trump 45, we have seen two tools, sanctions and money. Punish them into reasonableness or pay them into reasonableness. Both tools make the same assumption that the other side of the table is a government that wants what governments want. They want to survive, and we're negotiating with a state, and they're conducting a mission, and they all want to survive, and so we can negotiate.
It is crazy that I don't think that when you look at the online discussions, and again, this is where, like, I guess it's true what they say, the nuance goes to die on the internet. Like, no one's actually worried about having an actual conversation. It's either like, it's very like cut and dry. It's black and white. It's like, it's this or it's that. It can't be anything else. So like all of these people that are forming an opinion on what's going on in Iran all pretend that they have the answer. I will say that with Beck, he never really presents it as he knows. He assumes that maybe this is what's going on, which I appreciate from him. Also, he does know President Trump. And the thing about Glenn Beck that gives him real credibility for me is Glenn Beck is one of the, I don't know if he's but he's one of the best cases of a person that overcame TDS. I mean, obviously, JD Vance has got to be the poster child for that, but outside of Vance and maybe even Rubio, Glenn Beck may be the single best case that overcame TDS. I'm thinking about this as I'm processing it, but I think he is.
Did it ever work? Has it once, either one of those, worked? I have my opinion, but this is my opinion. No. Neither one of those have worked. We have every single one of them, both of trying both ways, carrot and stick, have just kicked the can down the road. You remember Harry Truman had a sign on his desk that said, "The buck stops here"? I think there should be a can on Donald Trump's desk that says, "The can stops."
It's weird. I see Krista's comment on YouTube, but I can't highlight it on StreamYards. It didn't show up. But Krista says, "Hey, everyone, check out Jeremy's new 9-line short on his Instagram." That's because Krista is working on my Instagram, and she's trying to get more followers and more interactions over there. So even if you're not doing it for me, you're doing it to make Krista happy, okay? So there you have it.
Here. Now, it's interesting what people have pulled away from this. Do you have, Ricky, the
Yes.
Alex Jones tweet?
Yes. He said, and I quote, "Thank you, internet, for pulling up so slowly. Glenn had a very classy way of telling Trump, quote, end this war fast." Is that what you were trying to say, Glenn?
That's part of the message, but I wasn't trying to send any message. I was just trying to tell you the truth on what's going on. This is a very dangerous war. And that's why I did this special for Torch Insiders only. And please listen to it. It's commercial free. It's about 45 minutes. This is the most dangerous war in my lifetime. I happen to agree with him. I happen to be a supporter of this. However, I am counting on him having more information than I have, because all the information that I have says we're in real trouble. And maybe we are, maybe we're not. But end it as soon as you possibly can.
I'd like to know what that means. All the information you have, like, does that mean all the information we have in general, or do you have more? And maybe because I haven't watched all of his stuff, but do you have more information?
But in a reasonable way. I'm not one that says this got to be over before the election. No, this has to be over when it's over. We have to win. We have to win this. And I don't know anymore what it's going to take to win. You know, people don't even realize that they're getting half the story on.
Who Dat Nation Girl says Glenn is actually going blind and it's okay. You couldn't say the word you wanted. You are the only Jeremy I like. Flattering is a douchebag. And Hail 199 Kino Casino. Whoa, buddy. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't know Glenn Beck was going blind. That's sad if that's the truth. I hate to hear that. I do like Glenn. Met him a couple of times. I don't think he knows who I am. I even name dropped Ripa when I met him in at the State Department. And dude, Ryan and Jay were just laughing. I'm like, Jay, you name drop more than anybody. Shut the fuck up. You know, but like, so I was like, hey, Glenn, I have a black friend. His name's Eric July. Yeah. I didn't say that. I did not say that, but it would have been funny if I did. So
hour on Iran was well worth the subscription. You painted a very clear picture. Thank you. Glenn, if President Trump is buying time, hoping to close the choke point, allowing the new transportation of oil system, will it be finished in 2027? Yes. Well, no, not finished. And I explained this in the
Super Cinema Vault says Glenn hated Trump. I'll never trust him. Man, you gotta give people some leeway, man. Glenn Beck he has never wavered on things. Once he got over his TDS, he has never wavered on Trump. He may have had some criticisms here and there, but Glenn Beck has stayed true to Trump. I had the same negative view of Glenn at first when I started doing CobraCast. I remember I pulled up a couple of Glenn Beck videos, and I remember saying, like, I don't like Glenn Beck. I don't like him because of this. And people said, like, actually, man, he's been pretty consistent on Trump, dude. So even I had that perception of him too, to be fair.
In the special yesterday, this is all about choke points. This is about nuclear weapons. But if you can't stop them, the regime, from having a nuclear weapon, you have to take away the only thing that gives them real power, and it's not a nuke. What gives them power is that choke point of all of our oil. The world has been building.
Holy shit, I thought he was going to sneeze. Holy shit, that freaked me out. I was like, is he going to sneeze? Holy shit.
Oil. The world has been building pipelines to go around that choke point for a while now, for years, but nothing is really happening. I mean, nobody does anything. Nobody spends that kind of money unless you have to. And so this has given the world a wake-up call. And now we are opening pipelines. I think it's 60% of the oil that goes through that choke point now. By 2027, we'll be going through a pipeline. So Iran will have nothing to do with it. And that's the real win here. If we can get the choke point away from them, it matters less if they have a nuclear weapon. It still matters a lot because I believe they'll use it, but it matters less to the global economy. Glenn, the navigation satellite system that China gave Iran that's pinpointing attacks on the U.S. assets, are we able to defend against it? I don't know. Jason, do you know about this?
Yeah.
The navigation satellite system?
Yeah. So that came out, I guess it was released about a week or so ago.
And I need a studio where I got somebody in my ear to give me answers and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know? I just sit here all day answering questions. Half the time don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, probably. I need somebody to be like, hey, Jeremy, this is the answer. Like Candace Owens had, you know? Worked pretty good for her.
That there was a satellite that China, I think it was a private company. I might be wrong on that, but I think it was a private company, but probably through CCP, let them use that satellite, probably assuming for targeting.
Okay, let's be real. No, Beardo would be terrible at that. If we're actually going to make me sound smarter, it would need to be Ryan in my ear to say, give me all the answers. That would be the right answer, okay?
But there's also rumors about Russia doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think that we can do anything to stop it, but I don't think that this is pretty much just how it works in most.
Dude, what the fuck? That's Hambly in the back. How do you guys catch these things, man? Holy shit. Quartering's back there in the back hanging out.
Nope. I guess proxy Cold War type situations. I don't see this as being a huge escalatory thing. It's not good. It makes the entire situation a lot more dangerous. But this is kind of the world that we're in now with this, you know, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's anything involving us against this axis of Russia, China, Iran, and then vice versa. It feels very much like the Cold War, you know, of the 1960s, 70s, 80s, for sure.
So history teacher Leo, stay in on this one, wrote in, there's a lot of talk about possibly using tactical nukes to take out Pickaxe Mountain. I think that would set a dangerous precedent for other nuclear-armed countries. What do you, Jason, and Glenn think? I think the use of any tactical nuke is wildly dangerous.
That's not going to happen.
Wildly dangerous.
Yeah. There's no, for most countries, any kind of use of a nuclear weapon is nuclear warfare. So it doesn't matter what you put in front of it, whether it's intercontinental ballistic missile nuclear warfare or if it's tactical nuclear warfare, it's an escalation to nuclear warfare. And I personally don't see any country doing that because that is how we see it. That's how our adversaries see it. So no.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. All right. So look, Glenn's just got his theories, and again, I can only repeat what I think about this, which is very kind of general based, but there's a reason that no other president has dared to take on this because it's a very, very complex issue. And even Trump, regardless of how great we all think Trump might be and this, that, and the other, he's clearly struggling with this Iran thing. I mean, he just is. It doesn't mean he's going to lose, and he is losing, but it's clearly a lot more complicated than he anticipated. Or maybe he anticipated it, but I would have to imagine he wants to get this thing over with sooner than later. And it doesn't seem like that's going to happen right now. And here we are less than 3 months from the midterms. And this is going to be a massive talking point during the midterms. Even if he gets this thing done before the midterms, this is going to be a huge talking point. And I don't think it's going to be helpful to the Republicans at all. However, we still have to put this out there that the party that's in power almost every time except for 2 times in history has lost the midterms. That's something that all of the anti-Trump MAGA people that claim to be MAGA anyway, they're not telling you that because they want you to believe that this was them predicting it. But the reality of it is the numbers tell you that that's what's going to happen. So they're just jumping on the trend, but they're they're putting a different layer over the narrative of why we may lose the midterms. So I trust Trump, and I'll just leave it at that. So we'll see what happens. Maximus Americus says, did you see the UK government gave out a do not rape guide to the illegals written in English? It doesn't even threaten deportation. Is this true? Are you kidding me? Holy crap. That's amazing. Amazingly sad. Juice Giorgio says that Jay giving you a very improper 199. A very improper 199. There we have it. Thank you. That is true. My God. That is awful. That is freaking awful. No deportations, but yeah, let's go ahead and just not, you guys can just not, man. Hey, to be fair, those signs work in those blue cities. No guns. Those criminals was like, I was going to shoot up the place, but they got the no guns signs up. We can't do it. It's over, guys. Our plan is over with. Like, dang. They had it all planned out. They had all the resources and everything, but no. I did see this one right here. Where was it at? Trying to find it. All right. I haven't heard this clip yet, but this is Andrew Colvett just revealed that 5 days after Charlie's assassination, Candace told him if the wrong people take over TPUSA, she would burn that organization to the ground. Okay.
That's hosted Charlie's show on that Monday after. So Charlie was killed on a Wednesday, and then JD hosted the show on the Monday. So I remember I flew back, landed in the airport, and I believe I was talking to Candace, and she said something that I've not publicly communicated yet, but basically it was that if the wrong people take over the organization, and she said this, I'll never forget it. She says, I will burn down that organization. I swear to God.
And you mean Turning Point?
Turning Point. If the wrong people, and I just assumed because she was very obviously
there were
anti-Jewish.
rumors at this time, like it was
this is
chatter
5 days,
online.
6 days after, whatever it was.
Wasn't that right around the time that Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire made like this massive donation to Turning Point? It was like $1 million donation. Ben Shapiro was on the show. I feel like that was around that time.
She said, I'm going to burn down that organization. I swear to God. And I just thought she meant if the Jews take over or something
Ben
like
Shapiro.
this.
Let's just say the name.
Ben
People were
Shapiro,
throwing
yeah.
out because Ben Shapiro had appeared on the show.
There it is.
And people ran with like, Ben Shapiro has now taken over Turning Point USA.
I actually remember that when Ben appeared on there. I remember that narrative like Ben's going to take over. Ben's going to take over.
I don't know if he had appeared on that. I think he was actually going to show up the next day on the Tuesday because it went JD, the Daily Wire guys, Glenn Beck, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson that first week.
I don't think that you even know what you just said there and how much of a bombshell that is. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah.
Did you just say that Candace Owens told you that if the wrong people take over TPUSA, she's going to burn it to the ground?
Yeah, like 5 or 6 days after Charlie was killed.
And then what did you say?
And I
and how did
said,
she
I
reply?
told her because I knew that Charlie had told me multiple times, and I'll say 2, maybe 3 times I'd heard it. Then I was at Aspen when he
and I've
repeated it.
said it was a miasma. This would come up in conversation, and everyone would say
We all just knew if something happened to Charlie that Erica would take over, but we didn't think that.
God, I the more I talk, the more I hear about this, the more it is devastating that Charlie's entire assassination has been turned into a fucking circus. It's a circus. It's so sad.
That hard about it because we just kind of assumed Charlie was going to be with us for the next 56 years. But at that point, I told her before Erica, I think, is going to take over. And, she's very conservative. She's Christian, like this is what Charlie wanted. The board was informed about this when Charlie was alive. Like, this is what's going to happen. Like, you don't have to go there. I remember because like a chill went down my spine. And I said, well, don't say that, Candace. Like, Erica's going to take over. And you kind of heard her react like, oh, okay. Okay. Like it kind of
it takes on a different meaning over time. I think that in the moment you felt
she's going to
it means
burn
she's reassured
to the ground.
She's going to burn it to the ground.
But now it gets back. A thing I've said is, I think the nature of this is a speculation on my part, and again, I don't know her. This is just kind of my read on her behavior, and I've been around a lot of people and in media and so on. I think Candace is narcissistic enough and kind of delusional enough. We mentioned we would do these campus tours where Charlie's west of the Mississippi, she's east of the Mississippi. I think Candace was able to tell her a story of, I was Charlie's equal. I was the other person who did campus events just like Charlie did. I am the natural successor or replacement to Charlie. And I think she managed at some point to convince herself that she would get a call and be asked to take over Turning Point USA. And when that didn't happen, she experienced it as a colossal ego injury.
I think that theory makes sense, but I also, man, I just think that she was in love with Charlie Kirk. I think she was in love, and she's a woman scorned. He didn't pick her. She clearly was upset about that decision. She just accepted it because there was nothing she could do about it. And then when he was assassinated, this was her opportunity to build a narrative about her and Charlie Kirk's relationship that he was not here to offset. So she's able to build this false narrative without him to counter it. And because of them having this personal relationship, and she can reach back to that and says, yeah, I was talking to Charlie this one time, or I remember when Charlie said this. And even if it's not true that Charlie said this or that, she has a history with him. So it adds a level of credibility. So when she tells those stories, it's somewhat believable because they did have a friendship. And I think that that's what's driving all of this at its core, outside of the fact that I just think, she's making a ton of money and all of that. But this is who she's always been as well. She's elevated herself to the top of every conservative company, mainly because conservatives were so focused on virtue signaling, because the conservatives said, oh, look, a black woman who can complete a sentence. Let's elevate her to the top of our company to show that we're not racist or sexist. Yay. And again, going back to the line from The Dark Knight, turning to a man you don't fully understand. In this case, a woman, turning to a woman you don't fully understand. All you saw was identity because you saw opportunity to virtue signal. And that's what they did. PragerU did it. Daily Wire did it. Turning Point USA did it. They all elevated her. They all propped her up. They made her this big deal. And you created a monster that is now destroying the entire fabric of the right-wing online movement. So I guess congratulations if that's what you want. Yeah, it's crazy. She is the dominant factor in all of this. So, let's see here. Used to have my own podcast back in 2020. Why'd you stop? Got to get that thing going, man. Jeremy, I'm concerned about Beck's pink face. Roll Tide roll. Thank you, Super Cinema Vault. FIB came to my door over J6 commentary. I had all of my 64 followers at your stream is awesome. Well, thank you. Coming to you from the People's Republic of New Jersey, lol. Well, thanks, brother. I appreciate the support, man. We got Ministry of Rome thinks is the hilarious part about PBD's post-debate poll is the fact that when you consider how much larger Candace's viewer base is, when Andrew got 30%, they literally don't understand per capita. That's a good point right there. Dan Campbell says Candace was shunned by Charlie. She wormed her way in by asking to be included in mass TPUSA email chain just so she could respond to Charlie after each email he sent. TPUSA was told to exclude her. And yet here we are, the evil of Candace continuing to dominate everything. And then Coconut Creek and Tampa are tremendous, but I just got a house here before Queen was elected. Yeah, Tampa's great. Florida in general. If I have my choice, I will never move out of Florida unless I can move to Japan. But outside of that, I'm going to stay here. John Orchard says that she may have been rejected and then thought she could be the heir apparent after he died and was rejected again. Hell hath no fury. Ain't that the truth? Now, we do have, because I've covered it, I feel that it's necessary to, I'm not going to watch this whole video, but Tim Pool has responded to Alex Jones. We're going to watch a little bit of this. Here we go.
On Sunday, the Jubilee episode with me dropped. My name's been trending nonstop since. Lefties are writing fake news. This is what press does. This is what the media is. It's all fake. It's all attention economy stuff. Well, the first thing I'll say is it's a slow news day. We do got big news about Eric Swalwell, which I'm setting up for the 4 p.m. principal segment. It's like the big news of the day. I try to do that at 4 p.m. and get smaller stories in. But hey, I won't leave you hanging. Alex Jones has challenged me to a bare knuckle boxing match. I don't care. It's stupid.
Just him saying that is so funny.
It's like the big news of the day. I try to do that at 4 p.m. and get smaller stories in. But hey, I won't leave you hanging. Alex Jones has challenged me to a bare knuckle boxing match. I don't care. It's stupid. What I do care about is I think Alex Jones is compromised. And it's the weird thing to say because it's like it feels so fantastical. But let me explain. In December, Alex Jones was on the rational side of news, politics, and alternative media.
Listen, I can't believe what I'm saying right now. I can't believe this. This show was started off of me memeing on Tim Pool. Right now, as I cover all of this, infighting and drama and nonsense going on, right now, Tim Pool is one of the most level-headed people in all of this. He really is, man. He's one of the most level-headed people right now.
Correctly pointing out that Candace Owens' claims didn't add up, didn't make sense. She had no evidence. In fact, he got into it with Owen Schroyer over some of these issues relating to Israel. Recently, he flipped, publicly apologizing to Candace. That's remarkable. I mean, I'll tell you this, my opinion on gun rights hasn't really changed all that much. My opinion on abortion has not changed for the most part in forever. Still not a diehard pro-lifer. Don't agree with the Democrats, don't get me wrong. But what new information can be introduced in such a short amount of time that would alter the fundamental worldview of an individual? So I'll give you some examples of what I think is going on. As I've been saying for some time, that there was a play in the Trump side, seemingly Trump's friend.
Tim must have paused this right here to make Alex look crazy, to be fair. I got to get, I game recognizes game.
Broke with them and adopted this like anti-Trump stance. And I was talking about how in February, the rumor was that Tulsi Gabbard was going to resign, that she was going to have be part of a political campaign, either running as a Democrat or third party or something, a spoiler candidate for Democrats. Maybe not necessarily Tulsi, but
dude, I just noticed how much he adjusts his shirt because somebody, I think it was Rustafar, has says that Tim adjusting his shirt again. And now I can't not look at it now. He just keeps adjusting his shirt. I can't stop looking at it.
We'll see this with Joe Kent, Tucker Carlson. And I was told it's like, no way. Now, certainly some people were like, it'll be interesting if we see it. But I was talking with some dudes who work in D.C. and they were basically saying the strategy is this. Democratic socialists are taking over. They're a third of the Democratic Party right now, and they're deeply unpopular. The idea is to prevent them from winning and to capitalize on the division. The sort of left flank of Trump MAGA, which is, Tulsi Gabbard anti-war, is going to break away and create a spoiler. It's going to create an opportunity for moderate Democrats to leave the Democratic Party and vote for a third party, or potentially they'll run as Democrats. We don't know for sure, but I'm not entirely positive. What do we see now? Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, Joe Kent, they are forming their breakaway party. Tulsi Gabbard resigned. All of these things are lining up. Tucker Carlson, Candace, to a certain degree, Megan.
Did Jeremy watch the Alex Hambley debate? I did. For those that are not aware, we do have the D-Day Cobra 2 channel. And so if you ever miss CobraCast, the segments from CobraCast are uploaded to this channel right here. So there you have it, that one. So the segments are put over there. Danky runs that channel. He does a great job. So make sure you subscribe to that one if you have not.
Kelly and now Alex Jones are now inverting their positions. This is very strange. What could have happened that made Tucker Carlson say, I shouldn't have supported Donald Trump. I didn't know he would do this. And, for that, I sincerely apologize. Followed by his brother literally telling him maybe the $100 million from Miriam Adelson was for something. That is to say, Tucker Carlson knew that Miriam Adelson was providing $100 million in funding through various PACs and organizations to help Trump get elected because they wanted Trump to back Israel. Tucker knew this. I don't know why he wouldn't. Tucker's been very anti-Muslim.
The questions Tim is asking right now is perfect because it is true. Like, what makes these incredibly popular and strong personalities that are closely linked to Trump? What makes so many of them turn on a dime? It has to be something more than just a disagreement. It has to be something more than just that. What creates that? Common sense leads you to this place.
But all of a sudden, now Muslim's not so bad. Islam's not so bad. It's interesting. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is more just anti-war, more America First populist. Thomas Massie as well. Thomas Massie's had some weird things, like he attacked Nick Shirley for no reason. And I'm just like, that's weird, but Massie's still a friend, and I think he's a scholar and a gentleman. Still a big fan.
Thomas Massie
we disagree on things. The truth is with Massie, I've disagreed with him the whole time I've known him. But he's always been honorable, and people are allowed to disagree. But here's the thing. Alex Jones is overtly lying about everything.
Oof.
And this, to me, is odd. He's aligned himself with Tucker. He's got a picture of him and Tucker with Candace. And it seems like something changed on a dime. I'll give you some examples. Let me pull this up. Here's Alex Jones saying, Tim Pool just endorsed the Iran war again. Hold on there. Anybody who's watched my show knows that literally yesterday, my 10 a.m. segment was me saying,
to be fair, Tim, to be fair, this is what Alex has always done. You just have a problem because he's doing it to you. But this is what Alex has always done. He's always blown shit out of proportion for headlines and all of that. He's always created like a crazy headline, and then he goes down the rabbit hole of possibilities. This is what he does.
We've depleted our SPR. This is a massive failure. Just is. Trump's not going to tell us the truth about it. The reason that he's doing it, it's this global energy dominance plan. So why would Alex Jones put out a lie? I just find it weird. Let me see what else we have from Alex as we're getting into all this. There's the weird Chris Martinson stuff. Also very, very weird, to be completely honest. I don't know where the I haven't been tweeting at every single thing. He's saying that admitted I took money from the Russians. That's a lie. He's saying that I secretly met with Netanyahu. Also a lie. He says, you're on the record taking money from the Russians and meeting secretly with Netanyahu. So here's the thing that I bring up. Alex knows full well that none of that is true. He's already had probably 700 tweets at him where after I met with Netanyahu in April of 2025, as I'm walking...
I do find this just funny more than anything. I mean, Tim had no problem with Alex doing all of this stuff when he was in the good graces of Alex, but now that the Alex Jones focus has moved to him, I get it though. You don't want to be in the crosshairs of Alex Jones, but it's not anything different than Alex has ever done.
Out of the Blair House, I tweeted, I just had a meeting with Netanyahu, and we'll discuss everything that he said. To which we did. He was advocating for war with Iran. He was trying to lobby American media to support it. Half the room really didn't want to do it. I specifically stated that support for Israel was cooked, that the young people are not going to get behind it, either because you've got a right wing that doesn't want to fund Israel and a left wing that outright hates Israel. And that was the meeting. Now, hold on there a gosh darn minute. I've never supported this war in Iran, said I wouldn't vote for it, said it's bad. We're between a rock and a hard place. We don't want the United States to lose when it gets in these situations. Like the withdrawal from Afghanistan was a disaster. This is the best analogy for it, right? The Afghan withdrawal under Biden was a nightmare, despite the fact we were all hoping for a withdrawal. They just screwed it all up. So we want the U.S. to win, but we don't like the circumstances we find ourselves in. And now they're depleting the SPR to an insane degree to offset the high prices, which is screwing the economy and bad news for Republicans going to the midterms, which is why I called it a failure. Why is Alex lying? Honest question. And the only reason I cover it,
I do think that Tim should be taking a little more accountability for the fact that you know how Alex Jones is. You didn't need to quote tweet Alex Jones and put him on blast for not supporting Trump, and that's why his views have been in the tank. When you do that, Alex is going to take every opportunity. Alex is the most attacked person in all of independent media by a mile. He is built for this. This is who he is. He is an attack dog. He is going to fight, and he is going to claw, and he's going to scratch, and he's going to get dirty. He'll get in the mud with you, and he'll pull you into the mud with him because this is what he's done. He was born in it. He was molded by it. This is who he is. You go after him in any way, even a little bit, Alex is going to bring the heat. That's where Tim's not taking full accountability here, even though I do think he's getting pounced by all people right now on the right, which I find to be just crazy. It's like really NPC level behavior because, you know, it's like it's kind of easy to dunk on him in the moment. So everybody's piling on. It seems very strange, but he's not taking full accountability for the fact that he did kind of start this with Alex.
Is admittedly, fair point, it is a relatively slow news day, and Alex is creating drama trying to make news out of it. But it does play into what I've been saying about this shift from a faction of the Trump side going to break away and form a new party. So Alex Jones is now repeating the statements made by the Democrats. The Russia stuff. Bro, Alex Jones runs RT sources, Russia Today, all the time. I never do. How is he all of a sudden being like, Russia? Huh? That's what Merrick Garland and the Democrats were putting out against people like me. And I've never taken a single penny from any foreign source ever for any reason. Yeah, literally. Like I've been to Spain. Never took money from any Spain.
That whole thing that this is why the theory that they're working an angle, they're doing WWE. I don't believe that, mainly because I don't think Tim wants the Russia thing held over his head. I think that that was a very embarrassing moment for him, and it's something that he has not been able to shake. And it's a really, like, there's bad optics with that, even though I don't think that he probably did anything wrong. The optics are terrible with that, and I don't think that he would want that used in a kind of like, fake internet fight.
Spanish government, the Spanish government, or Mexico, or any, none, not one time. In fact, I was at DEF CON, the hacker convention, and actually gave a talk about how RT was trying to license footage from me over Sweden, and I told them to kick rocks, pound sand, and they didn't want to let up. I said, I just don't do that. I run normal business. We don't do any of that weird foreign government stuff. I don't even know how to begin doing that stuff. So the question that I have, and the point I'm making is, I think that there's a controlled opposition in essence. And that is like Candace changing her position, Tucker changing his position. It seems to align with some kind of manufactured division between.
All right, maybe I'm starting to see it now. Oh boy, hold on. I'm starting to see it now. Maybe I didn't see it before. But with Tim saying that right there, we have to go back to the meme. Who's telling him to say this? Who's telling him to say it?
Can I make it?
I'm telling you, this is how you get civil war.
Well done, Timothy. Now, Candace, say she's completely lost the plot.
Candace has completely lost the plot.
Now, Alex Jones, say he's doing more damage to the right than the left ever could.
Alex Jones is doing more damage to the right than the left ever could.
Okay, Timmy, anti-Israel rhetoric. Ask who benefits, then say Iran does.
At a certain point, you have to ask who benefits for all this anti-Israel rhetoric, because Iran certainly does.
Timothy, this next one is very important. Say I'm gay.
What?
Go on, Tim. Do it. Tell everyone you're gay.
I'm gay.
Between left and right. I had tweeted last year, the new left-right divide will be Israel. And then people who are just, I don't know, short-sighted were like, but the left and the right agree on Israel. No. The new left-right divide is going to be, the left is going to be anti-Israel, the right's going to be pro-Israel. That's the point. The new divide between the left and the right. So when you look at like Anna Kasparian and Tucker Carlson largely agreeing on their political positions, Alex is aligning himself with one of these factions, attacking me for literally no reason. Now, Alex is trying to claim that I attacked him first because I pointed out that I said, you can't build a pro-Trump audience for 10 years and then change and expect and then be surprised when your audience drops off.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tim. I mean, I bitched about Hollywood for like 8 years. And then as soon as I said I like the Odyssey, no one has been mad at me. I have had nobody in my comments telling me that I am a traitor. I've had no one downvoting me, screaming at me, telling me they're unsubscribing. I've had no one upset with me. I don't know what you're talking about, Tim. Come on, man.
He took that. Guys, let's be real. Like, obviously, Alex doesn't take that as an insult. He took it as an open door to play whatever game he and his cohorts are playing, where they've inverted their political positions. Alex isn't all of a sudden just believing that there is some Russia conspiracy. He spoke out against it for years. So why would he now take the Democrat position of the Russians are trying to manipulate our elections? The Netanyahu thing is largely aligned with like the Young Turks and the left as well. Even Nick Fuentes.
And I've lost subs over it. No shit. That's the meme. I wish. Do people not get sarcasm? My God. Is my sarcasm so good that you just don't know that it's sarcasm anymore? Have I ascended to the level that my sarcasm has reached power levels that people are just like, he's not even being sarcastic anymore?
Thing is largely aligned with like the Young Turks and the left as well. Even Nick Fuentes is calling that kind of stuff out. So why is Alex Jones now aligning himself with the Democrats? Honest question. You guys answer me. You comment below. What other things does he pointed out? Well, anyway, I'll show you this. The one thing I will say is largely it's just like very fake. He's challenging me to a bare knuckle boxing match.
Little Orphan Funkhauser says, no, I think people are bored by the bit, lol. I do believe that I mean, even me, I'm kind of over the sarcastic Odyssey stuff now. So, I mean, I'll probably still use it if somebody in the chat says something that gets me wound up, but you know, it's been fun, but my point's been proven now, that, you know, we are where we are, but it has been fun to rile people up.
It's just like very fake. He's challenging me to a bare knuckle boxing match. Well, the reality is he's been posting these fake things saying that I support Israel or endorse the war, which he's getting tons of response from people being like, Tim's been fairly critical of Israel, just not obsessed with it. And I've routinely said we shouldn't be providing foreign funding to them or any other country for that matter. I'm very anti-interventionist. So why is Alex just lying? It's an honest question. He's doing what the media did during Trump. It's the deep state playbook. It literally is. And, you know, I can put it like this. Tucker Carlson was a mainstream corporate press guy. He was on MSNBC as like a moderate. Then he went to CNN. Then he was moderately conservative. Then he hosted Fox News as the right-wing pundit. Now he's independent, and he's now shifted again. Candace Owens, liberal, conservative, whatever she is now, conspiratard, I don't know. These shifts happen rapidly. But Alex has never been like that. Alex has been fairly consistent up until now. What just happened? They destroyed his company. So I'm wondering if, you know, when Alex goes on his show and he says, I don't even have 10,000, all I have is 10,000.
I don't think the CobraCast audience even hated the Odyssey until Jeremy never shut up about it. Maybe that's my Trojan horse. Maybe that was my Trojan horse.
1,000 in my bank account. That you get special interests saying, we're going to lay up, but we want you to push these narratives and push these messages. And here's what you're going to say. Here's the alignment you're going to take. So he's challenging me to a bare knuckle boxing match or whatever. It's fake. None of this is real. I think the issue is that I got a lot of attention on Jubilee. I had mixed road positions for which you can see the progressives are losing their minds. They don't actually. Destiny made a really funny point when one of the progressives asked if I thought white supremacists voted for Trump hoping that ICE would kill migrants. I said, yes, because duh, like these people are on X. They're saying these things and then they don't know how to react to that. Oh no, but Tim's supposed to be right wing. How could he have a moderate position? Because sometimes there's just a reality. I think the purpose, a lot of what we get, and I think many of you would agree, there is an intentional mechanism towards division. And with woke dying out, what's the new left-right paradigm? Certainly some of it is going to be what we would call emergent. It could be that Alex...
Interesting comment there with woke dying out, which I do feel that that I think what's going to happen, I think there's just going to be a rebranding of woke. Because a lot of people don't realize this, but woke is just SJW rebranded is all it is. Because SJW started to become a tired term. So woke was just rebranded. So I think that we're potentially could have a rebranding of it, but I don't think it's necessarily dead, but I do think that it's rebranding is something that may happen.
Jones just sees a path towards viewership and takes it because, you know, he's got no scruples. Or it could be that there is a mechanism behind these channels that says, here's the line we're going to take. When I worked at Fusion, it was very much that. They said, this is what young people want. This is the line we're going to take. And I went, nah, like, I'm not going to just say stupid nonsense that makes no sense. I'm going to say what I think. You know, the machine doesn't like that very much. So here we are. Alex Jones claimed that I was pro-Israel. And then even actually like a really great example. Like, obviously, I am not pro-Israel.
Yeah, but see, the thing is I have to always bring this up when Tim brings this shit up. But like, man, like meeting with Netanyahu in under any circumstances is terrible optics. Tim spends enough time on the internet to understand that the optics of meeting with Netanyahu under any circumstances is awful. It's the equivalent of like, Tim, you might as well just go to a gay club and then people find out you're in the gay club and you're like, well, I was just there. I'm not gay. And they're like, yeah, you are. You're in a gay nightclub. That's the equivalent of having a meeting with Netanyahu. Like, if you don't want to be labeled gay, don't go to a gay nightclub. If you don't want to be labeled pro-Israel, don't have a fucking meeting with Netanyahu. This ain't complicated.
Real, really, just Israel ambivalent is the way to describe it. But what was the one I just showed where he says Tim just endorsed the Iran war, and so I posted this right here, literally me starting off the video. Here, let's just roll tape. This is.
Are we reacting to Tim reacting to Tim reacting to an article? We are ascending to levels never thought possible. In Asmongold's absence, we have reactception going on.
Failure. Me reacting to me.
Oh, whoa!
Sorry.
Okay, hold on. Now we have me reacting to Tim by Tim saying that Tim is reacting to Tim, and now I'm talking about me reacting to Tim saying that he's reacting to Tim. Right? I think, yeah, okay.
It just is. Literally calling the war in Iran a failure that Trump...
Holy fuck, is this what I do at the Odyssey where I pull like all these old clips of them and I react to myself predicting that the Odyssey is going to make $1 billion? And the chat's like, shut the fuck up. We don't care.
Will not tell us the truth about. Why would Alex lie? This is the overt playbook the deep state did forever, okay? It just is, guys. We found ourselves watching the news every day, wondering how it is that Trump could say something like, we should condemn neo-Nazis and white nationalists, yet somehow the media would say Trump endorses them. And you'd be sitting there being like, I don't understand. I'm literally watching the clip you posted in the article where he says the opposite, but they say something different. The media said Trump calls Nazis fine people. And then you watch the video and Trump says, and I'm not talking about neo-Nazis.
Correct.
How could it have been that those of us with discerning minds were watching something so insane? How about double masking from Fauci? These things that we knew they just made up. How could they get away with saying the exact opposite of what a person said on TV? That was the deep state playbook the whole time. You would get Trump saying, Trump comes out and he goes, you see this, they're doing this study out of France, hydroxychloroquine, they're calling it. They're saying maybe that can help.
Now Tim is I think Tim's a little on edge these days, man. Now Tim is doing Trump impersonations. He's reacting to himself. He's
The media then runs the report. Trump says, eat fish cleaner. No joke. Trump never said that. Trump referenced a study done in France. But then they would lie about what Trump said overtly. And we'd ask ourselves, how could people not just watch what Trump said? So now Alex Jones is doing it. You tell me why you think he is. I don't really
Why don't you tell me?
My view on this is that there is a concerted effort, semi-coordinated, behind the scenes, a breakaway faction from Trump intentionally trying to create a new division they control. Why? Well, Alex is anti-woke. Tim Pool is anti-woke. If the new left-right paradigm is going to be dominant factions that all agree the woke culture war stuff is bad, they've isolated and destroyed it. That's what I think they're doing. I'm not going to play these games. I'm not going to do some fake debate with...
Yes, you do, Tim. You literally play the game every day on Twitter. You play the game every day on YouTube. You use insane hyperbole and sarcasm on Twitter every fucking day. He says things on Twitter that he fundamentally does not believe in order to get a reaction and get people talking. Yes, you do. You do play this game
with Alex Jones because we don't even disagree. He's just fabricating an issue, claiming we do. It's a lie. So I'll put it simply. I'm not going to play any games or do any weird, stupid, bare knuckle boxing BS. I'm going to tell you straight up. Alex Jones can shove it up his ass. He's a bad person. I defended him for a decade. He showed up to my show the past 3 times drunk and staring on the bottle of Tito's.
That he did. That he did.
He had an alcohol-induced seizure on the show back in March. Look it up. The episode got like 2 million views because of it. And we defended him. We called for help because we were concerned about his health, and we defended him. But the dude is a scumbag.
Wow.
He turns on a dime where the money is offered to him. I'm not debating you, bro. I don't give a shit. You can go fuck off and lose my phone number. I don't care.
Whoa.
I didn't publish those voice memos you sent me because I won't do that without your permission because I believe in respecting the privacy the person expected at the time. But I'm completely disinterested in these grifters.
Well, so let's back this up because I was trying to search out where Alex was drunk on his show. I have my reaction to it. All right, yeah, we're going to react to me reacting to Alex being drunk. Here we go. He's completely fucking drunk. I should wear that and shit. I should wear that hoodie more often. Alex is completely done.
I said when it started 12 days ago, I said, it started, I think it's not going to work. I hope they fail. I hope they fall right now. But it didn't happen. But I'm not a rocket scientist. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs and all the other reports told him it probably wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And my listeners are like, you're a Qatari agent. No, like the Pentagon said, don't do it because it's a roll of the dice.
You're a Qatari agent.
What's up with all this, like the Israel stuff?
That's retarded. I've never been to Israel. I've been to Israel. Anytime I'm like, you're like, hey, right?
Dude, Alex is denying being an Israeli agent on Tim Pool's show. Now he's accusing Tim of being an Israeli agent. Holy fuck, this is full circle. And I'm reacting to Alex denying of being an Israeli agent on Tim Pool's show.
Today, Israel did it. I'm like, well, no, it's like,
You know, the reason I ask you is because you've got more experience in the independent media space, particularly when it comes to government conspiracy, psychological operations, and all that. And, you know, you've been here longer than anybody else. And then all of a sudden, over the past 6 months, there's been
It rained today. It's Israel's fault.
dramatic shift online where now everyone's just talking about Israel doing everything all the time. Like all the conspiracy stuff that you've talked about when it comes to liberal economic order, you know, Project for a New American Century, all that is just gone now. No one cares. None of that exists. It's just Israel did it.
it's because Qatar doesn't
Dude, he is
lie about it. They
toast.
spend like 20 million a year on this.
Toast.
And so it doesn't mean that stuff about Israel isn't true. They have changed the whole subject into that instead of China and the EU trying to censor Americans. So I like, hey, the EU's trying to arrest Elon Musk with huge fines, or Brazil, shut up, Israel. So it's kind of like a public woke up like a baby duck, kind of imprints on the first thing it sees. So the public woke up, and so the Muslim Brotherhood, which Qatar funds, said, "Oh, the first thing you see is Israel," which is.
Here we go.
You can talk about China
But you
all
now
day.
see how Iran, because they're willing to kill their own people. 2 days ago, I said Iran is belligerent. They're emboldened. It's like, oh, you're a Qatari agent. I haven't got the check yet. My point was they don't care. They're willing to die. So I'm saying, like, what do you do when you're faced with this?
Yeah.
Like, this is cuckoo town.
Too late. They're there right now.
Danger.
Real Alex Jones on X. Did you get it?
Imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy right up there. We're like,
No.
we're like,
Wait, what? What? What is happening right now?
Hours.
I want to come back.
You are allowed. That is always that is acceptable.
Here for 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Do not visit Real Alex Jones on X. Do not follow it.
Too late. They're there right now.
Danger.
Real Alex Jones on X. Did you get it?
Imagine a giant Joe Rogan pussy. Right up there, like
No.
I mean, elevated,
like a jellyfish.
teleported up into Joe Rogan's vagina.
I think you don't want to leave. I think you want to keep talking about this.
Bro, he is gone.
I want the memes of Joe Rogan's vagina. You imagine how big it's must be.
You know, the thing about Joe is like the story gets a lot of traction.
All right. So anyway, that's what Tim was talking about when he said that Alex was drunk and they had to call people in and all of that.
And where the money is offered to him. I'm not debating you, bro. I don't give a shit. You can go fuck off and lose my phone number. I don't care. I didn't publish those voice memos you sent me because I won't do that without your permission because I believe in respecting the privacy the person expected at the time. But I'm completely disinterested in these grifters and these liars and these manipulators. I would sooner go live in a tiny house. I say van, but now that I have a kid, a tiny house down by the river. I don't need this world that you live in. I don't care to be a fake pundit. I'm not.
Okay, so Tim has had this same shtick 1,000 times where he's like, I don't need to do this. I can go retire. I can go live in a van by the river. He's said this more times, and I don't watch Tim that often, and even I know that he has said this more times than I can count.
Not going to do blood sports to build audience. Not interested. The Jubilee thing, you know, this is what they do. You do the Jubilee thing, and what does the left do? They're just lying about everything. It's all clip farming these days. Why? It's called the attention economy. These people all deserve each other. They deserve each and every one of themselves in a big group, screaming at each other and lying the whole time. You know, I'll be honest with you, how I feel, what's going on, the back end stuff, and it is what it is. And there you go. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you on the next segment.
Well, there you go. I mean, I do think he's probably a little overwhelmed with all the hate that he's getting, but I think Tim is a pretty level-headed guy right now with all things considered. He still annoys the shit out of me from time to time, but you know. NPC Hero says, what's the end goal of Tim Pool's content? What do we end up taking away from it in the end? I feel like my day before his podcast and day afterwards are no different. 50% yap, 50% beanie. I don't know, man. I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, I still think that Tim puts together a really good show. I don't think Tim is necessarily a good part of his show, but he does put together a good show. I do think it's taken some big steps back in the past year, but I mean, he does deliver the news, which is kind of the core of it for sure. But entertainment value, I don't think there's a lot there. T Little 199 for 10 says that you have learned your lessons well from Master Trump. Let's freaking go. Thank you. John says that she may have. Oh, I got that one. Joe Bitt says, have you seen Amy Kozak's latest impression of PBD? I have, and it's great. The Lego Batman Goon says Jeremy is clearly compromised by big Netflix Yahoo. He just called Tim level-headed. This can't be the real Fig Jeremy. Giorgio says, Jay, I stopped streaming in 2021 because in 1984 came to my doorstep. Serious issue at the time. Love what you're doing. Gives me faith, and comedy is awesome. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Let me see. Ministry of Wrong Thing says Alex deliberately attacked Tim right as the Jubilee clips started going viral. This isn't a coincidence. It's a character hit job. Jones is compromised. Did he? But and if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I don't think Tim's did Alex say anything to Tim before Tim quote tweeted him? That's the question. I don't think that obviously Alex has taken this to a crazy level, but I think that Tim instigated. I think. Giorgio says, and if I were like Bowser, would that be so bad? That's a great line in the Nintendo AI Trump. Movie Erotic says, honest question, how do you like Alex Jones after his Sandy Hook lies? Yeah, I mean, I don't define a person off of one take or one issue. It's never been my thing. I think Alex was wrapped up in a lot of different rabbit holes, and he saw things that may led him to believe something. So again, a person having one opinion or one take or a few takes that I disagree with doesn't define them. I think Alex Jones has been more right than wrong over the years, and I don't think there's any debate about that. And he's done a lot, and he's been one of the only people that were blazing that trail for so long, even though now it's like he seems like he's off his rocker. Let's see. Crystal, what's up? Crystal says Alex, Tucker, and Candace have turned on Trump because they couldn't control him. They thought they had his ear. They were wrong. Trump's his own man. I agree with that completely. Completely. John says, we support your delusion about the Odyssey. That is what friends do. Grift on. Grift on. Narco says, fully support nukes. Rather do that now than later so my kids don't have to fight that war. The other option is Americans win the majority in Congress and make sure Trump can get shit done. Let's hope that happens, man. Let's hope that happens. Time will tell. Okay. We got a big gaming stream tonight. The new season of Fortnite, new map, new abilities, new weapons, new characters. It's going to be crazy. So hopefully you guys will join us over there on my D-Day Cobra Gaming channel. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys will come over there and hang out. And then we got Geeks and Gamers Daily tomorrow, and who knows from there. So got a lot going on. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Another one in the books, and I'll see you on the gaming stream. Have a good evening, and we will talk to you later. Bye, everyone.